Our next guest earns a living working on mansions, but she says you can add a lot of value to your home with even the smallest of projects. Here's her advice on remodeling your home. And our next guest fits right in with the theme of the show, your money. We're all about saving money, and it's in the name of your show, Bargain Mansions, right?
Yes, exactly. I love saving money.
This is Tamara Day. You host a show on HGTV, and you have a little bit of money and saving money in the back of your mind when you're doing some of these projects.
Always. Well, and also equity. Like, I'm always thinking, how can we add value to the home? Like, not just make it beautiful, but is this actually adding equity to the homeowner's budget?
And you were saying before, when we were chatting, before we started rolling, is that the words bargain and mansion are both subjective. Tell me about that.
Well, you know, a bargain to my kids is definitely a different bargain than it is to me, right? So everybody's budget is different, and so finding a way to design your home in a way that fits your budget and your bargain is what my goal is.
And mansion, your home can feel like a mansion if it's your palace, it's your place that you feel good about.
Exactly, and there's no set determining mansion, right? Like, somebody in New York City living in a 1,000 square foot apartment is gonna think 1,000 square foot is small, is big, right? But you move up to 2 and you're like in a mansion all of a sudden. So you've got a lot of room to wiggle with both words.
So you've gone into a lot of homes, a lot of projects. What would you say are some things that you've encountered that maybe didn't notice right away, or you notice right away because you have the training, that people might not know to think about or look for when they look at a new house or a used home?
You know, I think one of the things that I like to do is I walk through a space, I think about how I would flow through it in real life, and then I look at it on paper. I want to see the floor plan on paper and think about how can these walls move to make it more functional. And in the space you can see potentially where all of the structures are, but looking at it on paper changes everything. And so looking with an eye of how can we make this function better is always good for resale.
Do you think a lot of people are intimidated by like knocking down a wall or changing the structure? Because I know for me, when I first bought my first home, that wasn't even something I ever considered as a possibility.
Right.
It's changing a wall.
Oh gosh, I do think that that is an intimidating thing. I mean, it seems scary to knock down a wall. Is it all falling down? Mm-hmm. But the reality is if you are just structurally aware and you get an engineer out to tell you what walls are structural, there's a lot of walls in your house you don't need and you can get rid of. But the other thing is, everything is fixable, right? Like, it is not going to be the end of the world unless you knock the whole roof down. That you removed a wall, it can always be built back. So take the wall out, get creative, use the space that you've got in a way that functions well, and you're going to be happier in your home.
What are some projects in the house or rooms that people can focus on that can really add some good value to their home by sprucing that up or adding something to it?
You know, kitchens and baths always sell a home. And so I love to invest in a beautiful kitchen that functions well. It's really important that when you're thinking about it, you don't just go for trends, you don't go for, you know, the basics. You got to find someplace that's the sweet spot in the middle. So getting good aesthetics in the space is really important. And I think one of the things that I do differently is make my home memorable. I like to make spaces that people remember when they're walking through, because you might go see 20 houses, and how are you going to remember this one house? And I want it to be mine. And so I like bold, I like things that are unique, especially in spaces like mud spaces, laundry rooms, half baths, where you go back home and you think, man, I loved that one house that had this mud room. Remember, it was bright yellow, and it makes it memorable, but it's not full commitment when it's not the main spaces.
Yeah, I think it's funny that even something like a mudroom, it's such a small area, but for some people that just like triggers something. They can see their family there, they can see their kids sitting there, and it like creates a feeling in them with that house. Well,
and a laundry room, nobody likes doing laundry, right? So do laundry rooms in a way that makes it feel fun to be in that room. You can go bold, you can be colorful, do lots of wallpaper, great lighting, and it's a small commitment, small space. You don't have a lot of cost in doing that, but you make a lot of impact and make your day-to-day happier.
If someone's buying a home, what are some problems that they might not think to look for that, and then they get the inspection, or maybe even an inspection might not see it? What are some things like that people should be thinking about?
I mean, you nailed it. You've got to get an inspection. You need to do all the inspections, the plumbing. You've got to look at everything. But the things that I think people don't think about is like, oh, it's pretty. Let's do this. And they get into their kitchen and then they're like, oh, this feels weird. My fridge is too far away, or my dishwasher's not right here. Or my silverware drawer is across the room. Like, walk through the kitchen with the intention of like, how would you make a meal? Like, feel it, experience it, and just kind of see how it works and if it's going to actually work for you and your family.
That's functionality. I mean, you're doing a lot of cooking, you're moving around, and if it doesn't fit your needs, that's a great idea.
Yeah, so live in it. Pretend to live in it while you're touring it. See how it feels to actually cook a meal. Open the fridge, open the oven, see how you walk past the oven. People don't really think about that, but when the oven is open or the dishwasher is open, can you still walk past it? Can you walk past your fridge with it open? I run into houses all the time where the fridge is open and now you can't walk through the kitchen, or the mud space door is open and it hits the refrigerator door. Like, think about the flow, and that's really important.